If you enjoy Black authors, women's fiction, urban fiction, or historical fiction, this video's for you. I read 16 books in the month of October. I'm going to give my honest opinion, reflection, and some recommendations. My name is Raquel. I talk about all things Black books. Welcome and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be wrapping up the month of October and all 16 of the books. So some of them were a bit emotional, some of them fell flat. There was a couple I probably should have DNF'd, but I didn't. So let's get into it. So we're going to start out with This Is Law. So I picked up the third installment of the 3-book series, This Is Law by Diamond D. Johnson. So I read book 1 and 2. I loved it. At the end of book 2, there was a cliffhanger. Book 3 had not yet come out, where the male main character found out who unalived his father. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh yes, let's get into it. For about the first 30 to 40% of the book, they're talking about a character. I have no clue who this person is. I don't even remember them being in book 1 or book 2. This is the main male character's wife, best friend, in this toxic relationship. And I'm like, who is this? And where did they come from? And then once they do get into law, um, getting ready to take revenge for his father's unaliving, I was super underwhelmed. It almost felt like this book should have been attached to a totally different series. Um, and I'm not saying that it wasn't a good book. It was a good book. Maybe I just hyped myself up too much based on the first 2 books. So This Is Law. Well, I'll give it a 4. And a 4 is not bad at all. It just didn't match the first 2 books. Then I read Dem Boys from the Bottom, which is a 3-part series. All 3 books were available, and I ate through them so quickly. This was such a good series. It is about 4 brothers who are, their parents are not there. So the mother is around, she has some issues, and the father is in jail. 2 of the brothers are basically adults. So the oldest brother, Taliban, I believe he's in his 30s. Then you have Tedman, who is about 25. You have a teenager who is in high school, and then the last brother, who is in middle school. And he takes care of them very well. I love it. I felt like the name of this book did not fit the happenings of the book. Them Boys from the Bottom, I thought there was going to be some, I thought there was going to be some uh, drug deals, assassins, I was going to say car crashes, but not car crashes, but I mean, just some really, urban fiction type stuff. And it really wasn't. These 4 boys were really kind of just a regular family, taking care of each other and doing things. The thing is, they were traumatized by not having their parents there, and then they had some individual issues that they were dealing with, and that is really kind of what the book is about. But I enjoyed it. I loved it. There is a spinoff, and it is called Straight Outta Dade County, which I wholeheartedly plan to read. I just had to sit it down for a minute, and I'll get back to that later. But Them Boys from the Bottom, all 3 books, great. Then I read another series. So I read The Slums 1 and 2 by Katura B. Book 3 has not come out yet, but 1 and 2 is really messy. If that's your thing, this is a mess. It is about these 3 young ladies. You have Tasha, Mickey. Tasha and Mickey are sisters, and Drecka. Drecka is Tasha's best friend. So Tasha is with her longtime boyfriend, and she just wants, to get back to how their relationship used to be. She's complacent. She doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want to leave. And so she's in that space. Then you have Mickey. Mickey is a repeat offender. She is looking for a man to take care of her. And so when she finds a man who takes care of her, usually he's a drug dealer, he goes to jail, and then she's out, just out of luck, down on her luck. And so she goes to live with her sister. This is not her first time living with her sister, so this is not her first rodeo with this whole need a man to save me thing. She gets there, she hooks up with her old boo, which is Drika's current boo. So there's an issue between them two. And unfortunately, it just does not work out very well for Mickey, at least not book one and two. So maybe in book three, something good will happen for her, but she's going downhill real fast. And then you have Drika. Drika is messy. She's the pot stir. She's the get mess started, and she has assimilated to the project. She is that project chick. And so she's into it with everybody. She's into everything. She knows everybody. And when you have too many people all together, is bound to be some mess. And believe me, there's a lot of it. So I enjoyed this book very much. Can't wait for part three. And then we have, I read the Love and Scrub series, which is a series of 5 books. I did a video on this. I think it's called Love and Scrubs, and I'll link it at the end just in case you want to see it. You have Fever by Kimberly Brown. This one is about mental health. You have a man who is grieving the loss of his father. Excuse me. You have a father grieving the loss of his wife for many, many years, and he is stuck in one place in time, and it causes him to become a hoarder. He has a young daughter that he has to care for, and once she is sort of able to care for herself, you know how teenagers, they can cook and take care and go to school and all these kind of things on their own. Once she gets to that place, he really kind of checks out at that point. And at some point, she is just not safe in the home. She has to go live with family, and so she doesn't come back until after her father is no longer alive, and she has to deal with this whole thing. She meets a pathologist, and yeah, they go from there. So it's a really good story. It was my favorite out of the entire series. Then you have Crash by C. Monet. Crash is about a woman firefighter. She's a single mom. She has a teenage son. He is giving her some issues. They're going somewhere one day, and they are in a car crash. Her son is hurt pretty badly, and he needs physical therapy. So they have a physical therapist who is taking care of her son, but has decided that his mother is going to be his woman regardless. His father, who has not been in his life for many years, also shows up. So this is a great book. I did enjoy this one as well. These were my two favorite, Crash and Fever. Then you have Remedy by Shay Davis. I don't remember thinking that I didn't like it. I do not remember the book at this particular moment. I read this book a couple weeks ago, and I've read other books since. So, if it doesn't stand out, it doesn't stand out, and it didn't. Then you have Stat by Aisha Bree. Stat is about two people who have a one night stand. They go their separate ways. The man is a single dad. The woman has a school for children who lose their mother either during or after childbirth. So this one is about the black woman mortality rate. And he takes his daughter to her summer program where they bump into each other again. That one I did like. And then you have Rounds by Monica Walters. I don't remember a whole lot about this one except for on page one, it starts out with the spice, and I found that to be a little bit annoying. I like to work into my spice. I don't like it slapping me in the face. But, that's just my preference. And so all of these books, I've already did a video on those, so I'm not going to get too much into detail. I'll leave the video for these at the end just in case you want to check it out. And then I read When the Music Hits. It is by Oliver Amber. This was a really good story. I enjoyed it a lot. I would give it probably a 4 stars. It's about a young lady who is the first in her family to graduate college with a master's degree in music, and she has always loved music, wanted to be in the music industry behind the scenes, not up front. So now that she's got this degree, and her boyfriend um, live in, I think they're in New York. Yeah, they're in New York. And she isn't able to find a job in the music industry. There's this company called Lit Music that she has been wanting to work for many, many years. And so she finally gets the job at Lit. When she gets there, she winds up finding out that the music business is not as glamorous as it seems. It is more shady than anything. And she finds this out because she has some people that is trying to get signed. And so she's helping them out. And then it comes back to her that things just didn't go well, and they're upset with her, but she really didn't know. Also, there is very few people um, that are black working there, so she winds up with the one black girl, or I think it's 2 black girls, or I think one is like Puerto Rican or Dominican, and I think one is black, other than the female main character. And they become friends, and they have a relationship. And so she's being mentored by the lady that she meets, and they have a really great friendship and relationship. They both experience some of the same microaggressions. They have that, thing where you are kind of the only 2 black people there, and you almost have telepathy with the person. They have that sort of kind of relationship. But this was a really good book. I totally enjoyed it. It's kind of even killed. There are no real standout moments, but I enjoyed it enough to where I do definitely remember this book. And then my husband and I read Further Than I Further Than I Meant to Go, Longer Than I Meant to Stay. Lord, okay. Further Than I Meant to Go, Longer Than I Meant to Stay. And this is by Tiffany L. Warren. It is Christian fiction. It is about this young lady who has her life all together. She helps her mom out. She is, you know, she has her own place. She has a nice house, nice car. She is the, what do you call it? The, I don't know if it's CEO or she's the director of a black bank that is owned by her church. So she's got everything all together except for her love life. And everybody's trying to hook her up. Her 2 best friends, her sister, her mother, her, people at church. Everybody's trying to hook her up, but nobody, really hooks her up with the kind of person that she's looking for. She meets this guy. And even though it doesn't feel right in her spirit, she still gets with him anyways. And what happens is that she is she has a mental breakdown, and what you're reading is her therapy. So the present is her therapy, and the past is her telling the therapist how this all came about. It's a really good book. I've read this book, I don't know, maybe 5 times now. But my husband hadn't read it. And so this was really, really good. I totally enjoyed it, even though I, I read it before. So it's like it's new to me. And then I read, lastly, well, I read the book uh, the Projects by Casey Mills, and I was a little bit disappointed. Number one, because it was by Casey Mills. Number two, because I just, in my opinion, the book just was not good. And so, even though I read it, I really couldn't tell you what it's about at this point. I know it's these two characters and they live in the projects, and I don't know. It just, for me, it was not good. And that part of the series, that was the first book in the series, and it just like made me think, nah, I'm good. I don't even want to continue with that. And then last but not least, I read Standing in the Sun by Evelyn Latrice. So I did a video asking for you guys' help uh, to for my next read, and Standing in the Sun um, was the most common book. And so I read Standing in the Sun, and it was good. It was so good. Now, I enjoyed Tangled Hearts, which is by Evelyn Latrice. It is also a slow burn. This one, Standing in the Sun, is a part of uh, the what is the Eighth Wonder series. So I found out that you did not have to read the other books in order to read this one. But once I read it, I realized that had I read the other books, I would be familiar with some of these characters. I could just tell that those other books will give me ideas of who these other characters are that's in the book. And so I'm going to read the Eighth Wonder series. Can't wait. But this one is really good. It is about a young lady who is a single mom. She's having a really difficult time. Her child's father is a deadbeat. Her mom has her own issues, and so she is there, but she isn't like a really, really big help. And so she's really just kind of struggling with this child, and she needs to get a certain amount of money within a certain amount of time. And so, in order for her to do that, she is what you would call a hustler, because she is selling plates, boosting, like she's doing whatever she needs to do to get this money together. So she finds this tape. I believe it's a cassette tape, but it might be a CD. Either way it goes, she finds this tape that belongs to this singer. This guy is a bona fide singer. She finds this tape, and it belongs to his father. His father passed away when he was very young, and that has a really big impact in his life. It has him longing for his father. And so she tells him that I'll give you this tape, but I need X amount of dollars for it. And so they decide to meet up so that they can, exchange the money for the tape. And as soon as they get there and they're talking, the police show up. And she thinks that he has called the police on her, because she's taking it like, oh, you feel like I'm blackmailing you. You called the police. He's like, no, I didn't call the police. So they come and, they're putting her in handcuffs, and she has her baby with her. And she's like, please take my baby to my mom. And so he's like, okay, I'll do that, because he's kind of like, well, this is messed up. The least I could do is, get the baby to her mom. And so she goes to jail, I think, for like maybe 30 days or something. Not a long time, but just, 30 days. In that 30 days, the baby winds up staying with him and his family. Everybody's attached to the baby. So when she gets out, instead of her picking up the baby, she winds up over there with the baby because they don't want to let the baby go. They love the baby so much. And so she's getting to know everybody, and they're, helping her out. And, it's just a huge family that is very loving and very kind. And it goes from there, but it is a beautiful story. He is longing for his dad, and she is just somebody who needs love and support, who needs, she needs people to be there for her, to help her with the baby, to talk to guide her, just all these things. And so they are with her family, with his family. And it is just a beautiful, tender story. Um, it is it is very sweet, very loving. I enjoyed it. So I am definitely going to have to read the rest of the books. So that was my 16 books in the month of October. Uh, have you read any of these books? And what was your favorite read of October? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to add it to my TPR. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and do all of the YouTube things. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, see you soon.